Hey guys, you thought I was gone, but surprise, I have a little present for you guys. We're going to be talking a little bit about realpolitik and the unification of Italy. So you guys might remember that last week I talked about this a little bit, but realpolitik is essentially um, coming from the failures of 1848 and failed liberalism, right? Like romantics in 1848, when they had all those revolutions, they kind of thought like, everybody's going to be so passionate and everyone's going to come together in this like really amazing goal of revolution, because revolution is a sort of like romantic notion anyway. But there's no organization, and it's a lot of chaos and no real leadership. So it falls apart and all these things kind of fail. Well, after that, people kind of realized this doesn't really work. So this age of realism is going to replace romanticism. And this comes with this German term known as realpolitik or realpolitik, which the idea behind it is that you're going to accomplish your political goals more practically, more realistically, and definitely in a Machiavellian way by any means necessary. That also means you have to have a plan, a strategy. You can't just rely on people to have this like romantic notion of, sudden, organic, passionate, like outburst of revolution. That's not going to work. So romanticism kind of falls out of fashion. And so nationalists realize that. Nationalists realize, like, wait, we want to unify our country. So if we're going to do that, no more romantic notions of revolution. We have to have a real, concrete, step-by-step plan that Machiavelli himself would be proud of. So it happens in Italy first. Let's talk about Italy. Austria had been ruling over parts of northern Italy for centuries. But after 1848, nationalists don't want that anymore. They want a unified Italy that's for Italians. So there's this northern kingdom called Piedmont, and it's ruled by a royal family called the House of Savoy. And the leader of the House of Savoy is this guy named Victor Emmanuel. And he decides that he's going to appoint this guy named Count Camillo di Cavour as the prime minister. Now, he's a count, right? So he's a noble. You'd expect him to be conservative, but he's actually a fairly liberal guy, especially because he's rich and he's a businessman. So he wants unity. He's also a wealthy industrialist. So remember liberal economics, laissez-faire. He has made a fortune. He's a filthy rich northern Italian guy in like railroads and steel and all these other industries. And he wants to bring that to Italy. So he wants to bring industrialism to Italy, which is not industrialized yet. He's a clever Machiavellian politician. And he says we need to unify, but first to unify, we're going to need some economic prosperity. We need a good army, but we're definitely going to need help from the French, because the French will definitely help us go to war against Austria. And Austria is keeping us from this unification since Austria controls northern Italy. So he goes to Napoleon III for help. There he is, Count Camillo de Cavour with his beard. That was very fashionable back then. So they strike a deal, to him and Napoleon III. And the deal is that France will give Napoleon III will give France some. France would get Nice and Savoy, which are these like sort of northern Italian regions, and France really wants them. Also, they even throw in this like central Italy part that Napoleon would be able to control, and even marry Napoleon's cousin to the king's daughter. And of the king of central Italy, I mean. And then the only thing Cavour asked for in return was northern Italy, which was under Austria's control. So Napoleon's like, great, that gives France control over Italy, so it's a sweet deal. Cavour then says, perfect. He provokes that war with Austria, and it's all going well. France is helping, and together, France and Camillo de Cavour and Piedmont, they're winning. But then all of a sudden, Napoleon III, he just like withdraws from the war. He realizes he doesn't have an appetite for this war with Austria anymore. He kind of flakes. So Piedmont does not get everything it wants. It does get to unify with this other northern Italian state called Lombardy. But Austria gets to keep Venice, which was not really what Cavour wanted. However, at least now, Piedmont and Lombardy are unified, but they're unified under Piedmont's control. So at least he has that. This actually causes nationalism to spread throughout Italy, especially in the south, because suddenly people realize like, oh, wait, unification's happening. That's a good thing. So speaking of the south, let's go down there and meet this guy. His name